and helping those on a spiritual path to find their right way to connect to the transcendent, to the divine, to those spaces and realms and beings beyond us, not with any particular dogma, but primarily with a set of practices and a way of operating that is uniquely designed for you, for your exploration, for the benefit of your life, for what you would like to experience more of in your life and those that you are meant to serve. We are excited to offer, I think we are getting into almost 2 years of these monthly code experiences. Code, as you know, is the Church of Direct Experience. And really honored to be here with all of you again, and then all of you who will be watching later on in the replays. This is such a beautiful and bright and brilliant, luminous group of humans, and we feel honored to be gathering together, to be sharing space, to be sharing these codes of awareness that are gathered and gleamed throughout the years and millennia from different traditions and compiled into something that is useful for modern humans now in the time that we all need it most. So to start, I'm going to invite you again to notice your breath. We'll do a quick attunement. And then I'm going to share some teachings, some slides about one of my areas of mastery, which is the spine and the nervous system, and how that leads to awakening. And then we're going to go into a practice together. So as you're noticing your breath, noticing your body, noticing your energy, noticing your consciousness start to settle and open, starting to notice this blessed moment that we have today to be in practice. What a joy, what a gift, where we don't have to be doing 100 other things, that we can devote ourselves to the present moment, to the feeling, to the sensing, to the embodiment of the present moment, to the gift of being with all aspects of ourself that maybe we had to put on a shelf for part of the day, part of the week, part of our month. The opportunity to notice how, when we commit our awareness to being with ourselves, that self expands and opens. And maybe the backlog of messages from your deep intuitive self, from your body, from your higher self, start to percolate in. So as you're breathing, as you're resting, as you're settling, as the energy is opening, as the conduit is expanding, as the aperture from earth through human all the way up to the divine is becoming more clear, more illumined, more patent, I'm going to invite you to notice the others in this space reaching out and doing that same thing. Notice not just the I as an individual on this call, but notice the we, this group of humans, committed to connecting, committed to their path and their awakening, committing to finding the practices, being bright, aligned, and awakened human beings, and recognizing the power of all of us as individuals coming together as a group, coming together to do this work, to be the ones that are bright and capable, to have the answers not just for ourselves in this time of chaos, but to have the answers and the spaciousness and the brightness for others. In the same way, we can experience ourselves as the one. It's a special gift to join into these spaces where we can notice this collective as the one collective. You may imagine and notice from your sensing all of us breathing together, all of us synchronizing together in the most right and beautiful way, sharing the same energy, synchronizing to the one heartbeat, synchronizing to the one big inhalation of the universe and the one relaxing exhalation of the universe. And the more you can relax, the more you can allow yourself to be breathed by the universe, by the divine, and allow yourself to be carried on the carrier wave of the one consciousness of the universe, of God, of the collective. And from that expanded place, I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness back into the body, more specifically to the area behind your heart that is your spine, and start to notice in the center of that spine, in the center of that conduit, is a stream for light, is a stream for love, is a stream for life. All three of these great divine gifts, light, love, and life, interweaving like a beautiful cosmic braid moving through your central channel, connecting to the heart of the earth and all the way up to the heart of heaven, happening in you right now, and right now, and right now. Hmm. As you continue to stay in your noticing, I'm going to share some slides to give a little bit of reference and background for some of the experience we're going to be having today. So, if you'd like to stay in your closed eyed awareness and just stay in the sensing of your body and just listen, you're welcome to do that. If you'd like to open your eyes and watch some of the visuals on the slides, you're obviously welcome to do that as well. Whatever best works for you. So today we are exploring the neurological foundations of awakening. Many of you know that the nervous system is the ladder from the physical, from the body, up to the absolute. In a culture where we are so focused on the brain, and the brain is not to be neglected. The brain is a beautiful, bright, capable organ. But because we are thinking primary beings, we assume the brain is the most important thing. And maybe you'll change your mind after we go through some of this today. So I'm going to start with some ideas about the nervous system. The nervous system is the most complex and the most sensitive part of the human body. More ephemeral, more subtle, more sensitive, more robustly aware than anything else in the human physical being. And it has to be, because it is the place within the human for which consciousness resides. And just a quick anatomy lesson, the nervous system is the brain, the central spinal cord, and the peripheral nerves. And The nervous system is really the bridge between the physical being, the physical, tactile, and sensory human organ, and the energetic selves, our energetic bodies. And after working with the nervous system for nearly 15 years now, I found that if we clear the body, the emotion, the mind, and finally the neurology, the central channel opens as an aperture of awareness so we can start to notice our energetic sensing, our energetic bodies, and even have access to other energetic realms. One important thing to recognize about the nervous system is that it operates on neurological set points, meaning whatever we train the nervous system to be accustomed to and to respond to is what it becomes skillful at responding to. So you may notice this if you've been in a period of high stress for a prolonged period of time, that the nervous system becomes very aware, very vigilant, and it actually ramps up to a set point of being in stress because the message we're giving the nervous system is life is stressful. We better be aware. Simultaneously, if you set your nervous system to openness, to energetic sensing, to inviting the divine, the sacred down into our body and being, to being at ease and at peace, the nervous system will take that as a message of the world is peaceful, the world is safe, the world is sacred, and so now I am that too. And one of the ways that you may notice this happen in your own life, people often report, when I go on vacation, it takes me 2 or 3 days just to relax. And then finally, my body can know peace. My body can relax. My body can be at ease. And in my work as a healer, when I would apply the modalities to get the nervous system relaxed, one of the most common things people would say is, I had no idea how stressed I was. It's because of these set points. So we want to engage practices so we can make the nervous system nimble, so we can have a strong, capable response to stress when it arises, but we can immediately go back to peace, to ease, and to openness. The nervous system adapts to the regular demands of your life, and life in this world can be focused on stress, on high attention, on capability of the nervous system to be in response to scary and big things, or we can change that set point to more openness, more presence, more ease, more access. So, quick anatomy, spinal system. It's made up of 33 vertebrae. For any of you who are esoterically minded, that number may have some meaning to you. It is the protector and the housing of the spinal cord. Within the spinal system, the bones, the vertebra, is three sheaths that protect the spinal cord. And they are the dura mater, which translates to tough mother, the pia mater, which translates to the tender mother, and then a spider webby type material called the arachnoid matter. And all of these jobs are to protect and to keep the spinal cord suspended within the vertebra. And the primary job of the nervous system is to transfer and notice information. So we have a motor system sending information from the brain to the muscles to tell the body what to do. We have a sensory system for noticing and sensing what's happening in our space and bringing that information up to the brain. So we're going to look at analogs of the spinal system through many different traditions. We're going to look briefly at the caduceus, the chakra system, the central channel, the meridians, the microcosmic orbit, kundalini, and the Tibetan system. And we're just going to do this to provide an understanding that what we're talking about is not just some interesting New Age thing, although it has been brought into the New Age, but this is actually going back thousands and thousands of years and in traditions all over the globe. So this is nothing new under the sun. There has been traditions around the world who have been activating the central channel for thousands and thousands of years. And the reason I love talking about this is the work that I did for the past 15 years. And this image that you can see on the screen is what a nervous system looks like when it is expanded, when it is open, when it has the capacity to stretch the heart towards our future moment, towards what life is serving to us. We get to let the heart be our primary sensory organ. And if you imagine the opposite of this postural position is a fight or flight way that we protect in a fetal position. The opposite postural position is how the spine and the nervous system and the heart opens. And we let the light of the bright, beautiful sun shine down on us. These two images are from a retreat I ran a number of years ago, helping people to open their neurology and their spinal cord and their nervous system to inhabit more of their luminous being and have more capacity, more sensitivity, awareness, and capability in their life, and specifically for this group in their business. So we're going to start with the caduceus. So the caduceus has been a symbol that has been echoing through many traditions for thousands and thousands of years. The caduceus is known as the staff surrounded by two serpents, often winged, sometimes not. So this is probably a familiar symbol associated with the medical tradition, and that's the way it's been used in our modern world. But it goes back many years to the ancient Sumerians, to a god named Ninizu who carried this same staff. In Egypt, there was a god named Heka, which was probably the foundations of Hecate, who is a female goddess later on. In Greece, Hermes was the god who uh, is associated with the Roman god of Mercury, and Hermes is also founded in the Egyptian tradition of Hermes Trismegistus, for any of you who are into the more Hermetic philosophy. In Greece, there was also Asclepius who carried a one serpent rod. And then finally, like I said, Mercury, the god who flew too close to the sun. So this symbol of the spine with two serpents of energy, two rising strands and currents of energy has been echoed throughout the ancient traditions for thousands of years. In the Far East, in the Indian traditions, we see very similar thing. You can see in the image an activated person sitting in a toroidal field of energy with these centers activated. So the chakras understand that the system of energy is a central current moving through the body, and each of these chakras hold a different resonance, a different vibration, a different element of consciousness. If you've looked at any of the literature around the chakras and different realms of energy, different realms of consciousness, it's been said in some of these traditions that there are seven realms and seven bodies, and each of those energy bodies also has its own seven chakras. So it's not just the seven chakras that we typically think of, but seven times seven chakras, 49 chakras, all operating in different realms. So a very robust system of awakening. In our more modern tradition, one of the best known energy healers is Barbara Ann Brennan. She talks often about the central channel and her famous book, Hands of Light. She has trained thousands of energy healers and thousands of energy practitioners in her system. And in traditional Chinese medicine, there's two meridians moving in the front of the body, in the back of the body, and joining together at the root and at the crown. These are the Ren channels in the front of the body and the Du channel in the back of the body, moving through the central channel, moving the energy across what the Taoists and much of traditional Chinese medicine is founded in Taoism through the microcosmic orbit, which is an internal central channel, but also radiates out into the space around us as an energy field, an energy circuit going up the front of the body and down the back of the body, creating an orbit of energy around us. And then many of you are going to be familiar with Kundalini, another system from India which seeks to open up the coiled serpent of energy at the root in the sacrum so that it rises up the central channel, igniting awareness in each center and finally flowing out the crown into an activated crown and nervous system and energy system. So all of these are operating through the central channel, through this nervous system that we're looking at. And then finally, the artsa, the central channel in the Tibetan nervous system. The Tibetan healthcare system, like the traditional Chinese medicine, looked at the physical structures of the body and acknowledged the actual spinal cord and nervous system, as well as looking at these subtle energetic aspects of awakening. So, we're going to look at three elements today as I lead us through a practice in just a little bit. Three elements of awakening the spine and awakening this neurology so that it transforms from an organ that is orienting to managing our mundane life into an organ and a opportunity to sense the more subtle, the more ephemeral, the more light oriented type of sensing that we need for this awakening. So these three elements first is deep sensing. How much can you notice? How subtly can you go? Because the more sensing you do, the more open your system, your nervous system becomes to energy. And then the second is expanding your awareness. So now, as the nervous system, the central channel is receiving energy, how broad can we make that central channel? Can we allow the central channel to expand, to hold the entirety of our beingness? And in fact, at some point in our awakening journey, the entirety of reality, and then stopping the world, which is energy resting in stillness. So, how can I have this very subtle, very specific, very deep sensing expanding into the holding of all of reality with its infinite energy, light, love, and life? And then, how can I let that rest in stillness? So, these are the three aspects we're going to work on today. So, a few elements of this deep sensing. We're going to ask the question, what can you notice happening in your body right now? And again, if you've been operating from stress, which many of us have, it's a chaotic moment in life. We need to get down beyond that point where the stress is telling us too much to do, too much to think about, and find ourselves settling underneath the chaos of an overactive mind and letting ourselves notice what's happening in the body. And then how specifically can you notice? Can you shrink your awareness down to the size of an inch in a spherical sense, and then down into a millimeter, and then down into a nanometer, and then down into a cell, and all the way down into a particle? Letting that duality between particle and wave, matter and energy start to become a very real felt sense phenomenon in our life. And then how completely absorbed can you become in noticing all of that? That brings us into the expanded awareness, because those of you who have visited this state notice that the more infinitesimal you go, the smaller and more specific you become with this awareness, the more broad and expanded that becomes as well. You start to notice that this finite, very specific point of awareness automatically seems to lend itself into becoming the awareness of all that is. So now, with this deep focused awareness, how can you let the boundary of that loosen, open, and expand? How can you let the entirety of that awareness be simultaneously and paradoxically both broad and specific? And now, as we have this expanded awareness that is specific, completely absorbed, expansive, highly energized, and deeply still, we want to take this into a practice. So I'm going to stop sharing these slides, and I'm going to invite you again to find this stillness deep in your being. Find this stillness at the root of your being. Find the pelvic bowl. Find your sacrum. See if you can let the breath get all the way down into the root. And first, just acknowledging what's there before I try to create something. Can I acknowledge what is already there? Can I acknowledge every bit of energy, of movement, of emotion, of block, of brightness, of numbness, whatever it is that is there right now? Let that be true without guarding, without protecting, without fighting, without needing to figure it out, without needing to know why. Just let it be there. Appreciate it for the role it has served to either protect or lead or guide or awaken. Let the breath settle into that bowl. Let all of these parts, anything that has been numb or protected, come into your awareness. And again, I'm going to invite you to thank it for doing the job it's been doing. And just let it know in this moment, there's nothing to protect against. There's no big bad wolf at the door. There's no impending task in this now moment. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. And it can rest. And now, for just a moment, with that acknowledgement and accessed awareness in the pelvis, in the sacrum, we're going to energize that just a little bit. So if you can breathe into your belly, we're going to do some quick breaths. As always, you know yourself, you know your body. If it feels unsafe to breathe into the pelvis, into the sacrum, this is an invitation. There's no demand here. So whatever you need to do to feel good in your body, allow yourself to do. For those of us who are going to breathe a little bit for the next 30 to 60 seconds, I'm going to invite you to increase the rate of breathing, and I'll do it with you. You may want to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth to stack even more energy. Good. Keep going, feeling the energy go down into the root, visualizing the energy that you're breathing in, gathering in the pelvis, noticing the energy really collecting and bringing all these parts that may have felt fragmented in the root back to one energized, cohesive whole. And as you're breathing, I'm going to invite you to gently smile, because as you smile, the nervous system knows this as a way that we make the body feel more safe. When the body feels more safe, the energy is more available, the nervous system is more open, and we get more access. So, slight smile. Just another 10 seconds of letting that breath move. And if you can, with the next big breath, let out an audible sigh. And let the breath move and breathe and open however it is available and capable and able. Bringing all the attention to that gathered breath at the root, at the sacrum. Maybe you can even feel that writhing energy wanting to climb, wanting to make its way up the central channel. And notice how good that feels, how natural and right that feels. Notice how familiar this feels. How many lifetimes you spent doing this in time between lives, letting yourself be activated. So the next breath pattern that we're going to do is an inhale and hold. And as we inhale, we're going to pull up from that pelvic bowl, from the perineum, in the same way as if you were stopping yourself from urinating, stopping the flow of urination. You would bring that pelvic floor up. And as we do this, you may choose to keep that smile, that sly, subtle, knowing smile on your face, and visualize the life, the love, and the light climbing your spine. So a breath in, breath out, and with the next inhalation, you're going to breathe in. Bring that pelvic floor up and hold. And feel the energy climbing the spine, up the belly, up through the solar plexus, up behind the heart, up the neck, and through the cervical spine, and into the brain, and out the crown. And letting it go, and feeling that energy descend again down into the root. Balanced, easy, settled. This is like an energetic flossing for the central channel. And again, breath in, smile, and hold that pelvic floor, seeing and feeling light, love, and life climbing the central channel, up through the solar plexus, up behind the heart, through the cervical spine, through the brain, through the crown. And then letting that relax back down. Each time, this transiting of energy becoming more familiar, more patent, more open, more accessible, more familiar, more acknowledged, more allowed, more true, feeling, acknowledging, and claiming this is me. This is me. One more time. Breath in. Subtle smile. Hold the root. Feel and see light, love, and life climbing through the belly, through the solar plexus, behind the heart, through the cervical spine, into the brain, out the crown. And this time, as the energy climbs beyond the head, just touching a spark of the divine and carrying that back down the spine with us into the root so that we are connected, root to crown, earth to heaven, as a conduit from the material to the cosmic. Now, with this energy moving through the system, I'm going to invite your awareness back down into the sacrum. And see if you can hold your attention there when the mind wants to wander. Just like a loving mother with a toddler, bringing that back to the sacrum, back to the pelvic bowl, back to this power. Knowing this is my power. This is my energy. This is my truth. This is who I am. Let the awareness rest there. Let it become smaller and smaller. How much more specific of a spot can you notice? Whether you choose the root or second chakra, the sensation of the tip of the coccyx, or some other spot in the pelvic bowl, I'm going to invite you to let your awareness focus even more finely into that spot, even more specifically into that spot, even more exactly into the spot, as we can see our awareness and the tip of our presence going from the gross physical structures down into the tissues, down into the cells, down into the nuclei, down into the DNA, and then down finally into the particles. So we let the full weight of our consciousness rest on a particle as it dances between physical particle and energetic wave. Particle is I, and the wave is the it of all that is. This particle moves at the speed of light, like a photon. As you can feel this particle activated with the full weight of your consciousness, I invite you with your spiritual sensing, with your energetic awareness, with your active imaginal ability to see it moving at the speed of light up and down the spine. So fast, so fast, so fast that the spine the nervous system, all the nerves out to every single cell in the body are illuminated. And the central channel becomes a conduit of photonic conduit, a radiant channel filled with the light of all that is, filled with the light of the divine, with the life of Mama Earth herself, and with the love in the center of your heart. Feel that central channel glowing, luminous, like neon, radiating out into the room around you, radiating out into the life around you, blessing everything that needs blessing. Blessing everything that needs rectification to a higher order of truth, to a higher order of alignment, right relationship with the world, letting yourself radiate out so that you can be a luminous example for those in your life. You can be a bright, shining star for those who need to see and feel. You can be the divine inhabited and embodied in this Leela or play, in the active cosmic giggle of this journey of being a human. As that radiance and majesty, power, and capability radiates out around you. I'm going to invite you to simultaneously and paradoxically notice the brighter and more luminous it becomes, the more still it becomes. The more still you become. And as we hold this paradoxical state of highly energized and perfectly still, we start to become one to all that is. Energized, expanded, and still. Full sensing, full claiming, full truth. A recognition that this is me. This is who I am. This is what I came to remember. This is what I came to be. Yes, sometimes I go into life and I might forget. I can always return here. I can be in the play of forgetting because I can remember remembering. I'm going to invite you to bless this place and set a neurological set point, a sort of bookmark of consciousness here. Set a flag in your awareness that will forever be waving in the beautiful, simultaneous breeze and stillness of this place. A place that you can always return to, the vast expanse of your true nature, the promise of your nervous system activated and alive, the promise of who you be when you claim this truth, claim this power of your more infinite self. When you remember, this is me, this is all of us, this is the universe itself. Let yourself return to the breath. Return to this being, this physical form that gets to be in this play, gets to be in the participation with this version of the absolute in our life. That gets the joy of remembering that can only come on the other end of the forgetting. And the more we open, the more we remember both states, the more we can hold the paradox. And we can be in the joy of the remembering at the same time we are acknowledging our forgetting. It's the gift of this one precious human life, never to be repeated. The soul spark of the divine animating within you in this moment in history. Ah, thank you for being on this journey, my friends. Thank you. Thank you for being lanterns of the divine mission, illuminating the darkness of forgetting in your own life and in those around you. Thank you for being a wayfarer and a way shower, sometimes just for ourselves, sometimes for all those around us.